We're going to Webster Tarpley here in just a moment for the balance of the hour and your phone calls. But I wanted to give you just a little window into this internal Midas Resources memorandum. I get sent these about special deals they're offering. And I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but it says Lakota Nation Silver Round offer price $21.72 or $434.40 a roll. The base cost on the trade is $20.68. I mean, they're making $1 and a couple pennies on that. I mean, that's the markup on these things. I'm looking at gold coins here that are, $231. They're making $5 on the coin. I mean, you can't keep the lights on for that. These are specials that Ted is offering, and he's getting huge bulk discounts on these, and he's buying it when gold is low, and people aren't smart. They don't buy when it's low. That's when I buy. They buy when it's high, so Ted sells it to you at the low price when it's high. Win, 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 win. So I just wanted to explain to the listeners the deals we're offering here. If they call up and don't say it's the Alex Jones special, they're going to get a higher price that's still a great price. These are special loss leaders. Are they not, Jim Newcomer?
That's absolutely true. And be sure to ask for the Alex Jones special so that you get these prices.
You know, how does Ted do this? How does Ted sell gold and silver? Because I always look at these, and I've been up there. I know these are the prices he's paying. How does he do that?
Well, to be honest with you, he amazes us. And I'm just waiting for him to get back from Europe this weekend so we can see what he's bringing with him.
Yeah, it's just absolutely incredible. 800-686-2237. Those deals you're offering on the Franks, on the British Sovereigns, on the Liberty VF, on the Liberty 10, it's just all excellent. 800-686-2237. Jim Newcomer, anything else?
No, sir, but have a great afternoon.
Take care. You know, I didn't tell Webster Tarpley I was going to do this. By the way, he's in the new Obama film coming up. One of the main, kind of like the narrator of it. A bunch of people for this film. Wait till you hear about it. Side issue. The point is, it's always, I haven't talked to Tarpley in about a month and a half since he was last here for shooting for the new film. And so much has gone on. I want to pick his brain on that, and I know you do as well. But Tarpley, let me just throw this out at you, because I don't know your view. I know you're an economist, a shot in the dark. And so I know you'll tell me what you really think. Do you think gold and silver in this crazy economy is something smart to get into, or should folks hold on to their world currencies and hold on to their stocks and bonds?
I would strongly suggest, Alex, first of all, hi, and thanks for having me back. I would strongly suggest that everybody have a gold hedge. A certain significant percentage of whatever you own ought to be in primarily gold. And you can see this. We've had this flap of interest in the past 2 weeks when Standard & Poor's says that the sovereign debt of the United Kingdom, of the British, is going to be degraded down from AAA level to something less, that is junkified. And then Bill Gross of PIMCO comes out, the bond king, of course, and says, yeah, and that's going to happen to Treasury bonds, too. That's very, very ominous. What you got right now is, of course, the dollar falling rather rapidly, 143 against the euro. Remember, the dollar had been, for some crazy reasons in the financial system, the dollar had been relatively strong over the last 6 months or so. But even more so, the interest rate on the 30-year long bond of the Treasury. In other words, this is where when the price goes down, the interest rate goes up. So this was about 2.5% on the 30-year long bond in December, and now it's 4.5%. So that's 2% in less than 6 months, and that's a big move for bonds. They don't jump around, or not supposed to, in the same way that stocks do. So I think what you're looking at right now is inflation shading over into hyperinflation, shading over into hyper-stagflation, and in the middle of that, I think it's still probably you still have a while to buy some gold before it starts going further up. And when some people despair, they say, well, I should have bought it when it was 400 or 500 or something like that. Now it's about 1,000, I guess. And they think that it's too late. It's not too late. I think it's probably still a very good thing to have.
Well, absolutely. But when people try to get gold and silver once the run starts, and people think this is a run on it, this is only the beginning of the gold rush. Historically, you're not going to be able to get it for any price. It's going to be really serious. Webster, I see a crisis worldwide in all major currencies, but centering around the pound and the dollar. As you were just saying, you've been ranting and raving for years about GM and Chrysler going under and what this would mean and how devastating. Now they're saying we'll give you billions, but under IMF, World Bank, World Trade Organization agreements, as you know, but listeners, some may not, just like with the stimulus package, that had to be open for bids worldwide, and a lot of it went overseas because under these globalist agreements, you can't have the government, quote, subsidizing its industries. So we're told this is socialism, but it's not. It's a pure cash gift to foreign offshore plutocratic bankers, as you say. And now it's in the news that not only is Hummer going to China, but all the major industry of GM, the vast majority, is going to Opel of Europe and to China and to Brazil, and that American taxpayers will fit the bill for that, and the government will direct what type of cars are then shipped in here, these little tin cans with tiny wheels. I mean, literally look like a lunchbox with wheels. I mean, this is the level of corruption is even amazing me. So as a top economist, and somebody I really respect, who's proven very accurate in the past, what is happening? Greg Palast is saying this is a mass looting, that the corporate vultures are using government now to divide and conquer like they've done in the third world. What's really going on here?
Well, first of all, it is a world economic depression of incalculable proportions. And I urge everybody, we've just passed this milestone. When General Motors and Chrysler are both bankrupt, that means the United States is in a very severe economic depression. So people should stop looking at all these things.
They didn't go bankrupt in 29. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Right. No, they've survived. This is now the lowest stock price they've ever had. And, of course, they didn't go bankrupt in the Great Depression, but now they did. And they've been driven into bankruptcy. They were consciously, deliberately driven into bankruptcy by the Obama regime with Larry Summers, Tiny Tim Geithner, and two villains in particular, Steve Ratner, alias Ratner the Rat, who has been the head of this auto task force that Obama has. And then his right-hand man, his running dog, is a guy called Brian Deese, D-E-S-E. And these are two Wall Street jackals. These are the typical finance boys. If you look back over the history of GM, recent decades, it has been destroyed by the finance side. There's a big tension in any industrial corporation between the industrial engineers on the one side, the people who know production or maybe sales and marketing, and then the pure Wall Street characters. And ever since the era of Roger Smith back in the 1980s and approximately then, the finance side of General Motors has triumphed over the other side. So they weakened the corporation. But as we saw at the beginning of April, Obama cynically, deliberately decided that he would drive General Motors into bankruptcy for the purpose, among other things, of busting the United Auto Workers. The United Auto Workers, these poor guys, I sympathize with them. They voted on Thursday and Friday to vote themselves out of existence. The trade union movement in the United States has had its most catastrophic defeat in a century when the UAW essentially committed suicide and accepted that deal on 4 o'clock Friday afternoon.
And that's exactly, Webster, that's exactly what you said a year plus ago about Obama. You said he's the left cover to butcher all of what's left of the industries. Can you imagine if George Bush or John McCain would have told him to do this? But if Obama tells him, they just fall over, and now the left goes, yeah, he's torturing, yeah, he's lying, but he's our liar and we love him. I mean, this is total moral bankruptcy by the left in this country. Go ahead.
Right. I hope that the support for Obama among these deluded Kool-Aid drinkers will collapse soon. But as you say, right now it hasn't done so. Obama is a professional union buster. That is his family business. The Ford Foundation and the other foundations, the Annenberg, the Joyce, the Woods, the Gamaliel, and so forth that he's worked for. What is their business? What is Saul Alinsky? Saul Alinsky is a union buster. He hates the New Deal. He hates industrial trade unionism. And his racket is to organize poor people, people who have, basically nothing but despair, and use them as strikebreakers and as a
same thing with carbon taxes. They are now admitting in the major British papers that this will ship all the dirty industry to the third world with no controls, and then they get none of the benefits, and then we have no industry here. All it helps is the consolidators.
Yeah, and the asset strippers. Let's call them asset strippers, the breakup artists, because what Obama has done, therefore, is to drive these companies into bankruptcy so that they would be at the mercy of various groups of asset strippers. Now, I actually think Opel has fared rather well in the sense that Opal has been bought up essentially by Russia.